Breaking news, buckaroos. The voice of Yahuwah cries to the city. What is the voice of Yahuwah? It's the word, it's the Bible, it's what you're looking at. The Bible cries to the city from front to back, like I've been saying, and side to side. Let sound wisdom see your name, the name of the city. This kind of language, it's used from front to back and side to side throughout this word. It's all saying, it's screaming at you to hear the rod and him who appointed it. The rod. Right now, take a look around. The whole world has treasures built up in the house of wrongness. Are there still treasures of wrongness in the house of the wrong? And the short measure that is an abomination. These two verses right here, 9 and 10, will tell you everything you need to know about what's really going on right now. The short measure. Before 1948, before the state of Israel was established, long before, back when the Most High's people had a city and a kingdom. Most people call it Israel, but it's Yasharal. Back when Yasharal, David, was ruling and reigning, before they got booted out because of Baal worship, Babylonian nonsense. They were his people, and they operated on the knowledge of Yahuwah. They didn't celebrate pagan holidays. They celebrated the Most High's feast days. They kept Shabbat. They were certain things that they didn't do because they followed the instructions of the Most High, which are always on point. They're all the right moves all the time. It's tested and tried. Put it to the test. Don't just take my word for it that the Torah is the right thing to do. Go put it to the test and you'll see that everything the Most High has told us to do is the way to do it. And I have yet to find anything that he's told us to do that isn't legit. They came in and they came out of the city. So that was the full measure. When we lived as a family, as a whole, a unit, unified. We came in and we came out. We had our inherited land. We went to Dad's house at the appointed times. It was a union. It was the full measure. We were getting blessed in and coming in and blessed going out. We weren't cut off from the Most High's people. He was our mighty Most High, our sovereign. Well, now the house of the wrong has created a short measure. They have eliminated basically the idea of coming in and coming out, of coming into your to the set apart dwelling where the Most High placed his name. And he said it's a perpetual, that law is for generations forever. All the instructions. Even the Messiah told us, as long as the earth's still here, it's still here. There is nothing. He didn't come here to do away with nothing. He showed us how to do it, and that's what we're supposed to do. He was there on Passover in the city, and he died. He didn't avoid it, and he knew he was going to die when he went there. And that whole story tells us exactly what to do, what we got to do. That's the lamb. That's the blood of the lamb right there. And when we follow what Messiah did and go to the city, love it, weep over the state of it right now. And we don't give ourselves rest until it becomes a praise in the earth. That's what we do. That's following the Lamb. Doing what the Most High desires us to do. So the abomination that lays waste has created a short measure. That will let you know that what I've been saying is legit. Because we're talking, he said he's talking about treasures stored up of wrongness in the house of the wrong. And they are equated to a measure that's an abomination to the Most High. And we know the measure is what I just told you. It's coming in and coming out. It's bringing in the first fruits. It's all that. It's offering an acceptable, participation, love. He'll know who loves him, and he'll know who don't. And those who offer those short measures, it's an abomination. And it's not love. It's them blowing smoke up the Most High's rear end. That's what that place has created, and there has never been a place like that before until now. That's how you know that's what this is talking about. This is talking about the Zionist state of Israel built by the Rothschilds through the Balfour Declaration. All the proof we've went through, if you've been paying attention to me, you've got no excuse to look at that place with anything other than disgust. You've got no excuse. That's how you should see that place right now. And you should understand that that's the short measure. And it is an abomination. And it's laid waste. Take a look around. Like I said, you're going to see. But watch what Micah says in this last chapter here. Watch what he says. Would I be innocent with wrong scales and with a bag of false weights? For her rich men are filled with cruel unrighteousness, and her inhabitants have spoken falsehood, and their tongue is deceit in their mouth. So I shall strike you with a grievous wound, to lay you waste because of your sins. You shall eat, but not be satisfied, and your inside be empty. And you shall store up, but not save, and what you save I shall give to the sword. That's exactly what's happening right now. Like I said, and this is common sense, and it's easily proven to anyone who wants to look, and anyone who's talking what we're talking about right now, they should know this. This is just like basic fundamental. We should know that the Most High has a way of doing things, and he has feast days, he has instructions. And that's what he does, him and his children. So if you're a part of that family, you do that. That's what you're doing, and you love it. That's your delight. You delight in doing that. It's not a question of whether it's your preference. It's what they do. Okay? So anything that is okay, people say they store up treasures in heaven, right? But heaven that they're thinking about is with the Most High, and He does the Torah and the instructions and the feast days in the city, in the land. You have an inherited land. We do that which is continual. You follow the Lamb. That's what we do. So anything given, thinking that it's stored in heaven, anything given, offered to the Most High, if it involves you eliminating you coming home and doing that which is continual, it's empty. It has been for nothing. It would be awesome. It could be counted up to you, to anybody. It would be chalked up as treasure stored in heaven if you could now turn and come to the fact, to the truth, that we have to return to doing that which is continual, because that's what Yasharal does and the Most High does. If we could turn to that, then everything you've done in the past, if it was good, yes. But if you never turn to the city, it was all for nothing. Plain and simple. That's what he's talking about right here. And you shall store up but not save. And what you save, I shall give to the sword. That's what's happening right now. All that stuff that you think you've stored in heaven, because you're eliminating the fact, the truth that we have to return to doing that which is continual, what you're talking about and what you're doing, it's being sliced and diced like Zorro. But in this case, it's Doro. And I'm not laughing at you, but it's easily avoided. That's why when it talks about the grievous wound, it often says it could be healed, but you just won't let it be healed. You can't see around this transgression because it involves you letting go of something, some things or something. Control. And see, that's where we go wrong. That's the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It convinces us that we have some sort of control over what's happening when we don't. It convinces us that we can predict the future. We think this is how it's going to be when we die and on Judgment Day. And see, this is the beauty of the Most High and this one simple fact alone, it puts on display His enormous grace and love and just genius and master class. When you realize that all you have to do is just follow the Lamb. And because that's what His children does. That's all He wants. He's like a father wanting his children to come to his house to see him on certain, and be a part of the family, go golfing with him, to whatever, barbecue, whatever the deal is, just be there. If He's your loving Father, we shouldn't be talking about whether or not you want to do this. This is what we do. So all we have to do is do that, and we're safe. We're under His wing. There's nothing can happen. Nothing can happen to us. As long as we follow the Lamb, we put our head down and we enjoy the ride with Dad, we're princes, we're kings, we're queens. It's just a fact. And right now, the world is refusing to look into even looking into this. So it is a grievous wound when you start to realize what's going on and what these people will fight. I will admit that this message hasn't been heard. It's fresh, I understand, and it's hard for you to swallow. But this is the truth. And it's the word I can show you easily prove to you that this word wouldn't come out until the end. So there's nothing you can do about it being fresh. It's just how it is. But, and you're going to see here even more, that's what this is all about. Our salvation comes when we return and do what Messiah did. That's why he gave his life for us. That's the blood of the Lamb. That's being covered in it. That's walking in the Ruach HaKodesh, in the water. That's the reason when you're baptized, that symbolizes you being washed by the truth from all the lies. And that place is a lie. And if you're saying that it's not a lie, have you looked into seeing if it's a lie? You haven't, have you? Because if you had, you'd see it is. It is a lie. And it's the house of the wrong. The short measure, it's an abomination. And it's going to be destroyed. It's going into destruction. As you probably can see that, right? Yeah, you see that coming. So the best thing for you to do right now is to just do a 180. And it's just a matter of you swallowing your pride and letting go of some things. But that's just how healing works. You don't realize you have this grievous wound. But if you did, you could heal it at any moment. And the healing is... There aren't words that I have. Abba, now he can explain it to you. So look, these people, they're all their ideas, all their fantasies, all what they're talking about, all this stuff. It could be, like I said, it could be great if we were including doing that which is continual, but that is excluded from conversation. That's excluded from what we're supposed to do in the people's opinion, according to the people. So it's for nothing. The sword is slicing. It's dividing. That's why it's the two-edged sword. And everything they've done, he says, you shall sow, but not reap. You shall tread the olives, but not anoint yourselves with oil, and make sweet wine, but not drink wine. All them Holy Land tours and everything, it doesn't matter what you do. That was vain. That's going to be chalked up as you being taken, you being suckered. And that's, I mean, it's not okay, but that's not your fault. I mean, we all got suckered. We all got lied to. But now's your chance to come out and prove if you find out if you've been suckered or not. And if you can't, if you're unwilling to go look, that means your pride is priority. For the laws of Omri are strictly observed, and all the works of the house of Ahab, and you walk in their counsels. Therefore I give you for a ruin, and your inhabitants for a hissing, and let you bear the reproach of my people. Omri, right here, apparently was Ahab's dad. So all Yasharal set up Omri, the commander of the army, to reign over Yasharal that day in the camp. And Omri went up, and all Yasharal went with him from Gibbethon, and they besieged Tirzah. And it came to be, when Zimri saw that the city was captured, that he went into a high place of the sovereign's house, and burned the sovereign's house down upon himself with fire, and died, because of the sins which he had sinned in doing evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he had committed to make Yasharal sin. So one thing we can take away from that, we can find out what that looked like, but that's besides the point right now. One thing we can take away that was happening for sure was Yasharal got lied to. And they were sinning and didn't have a clue that they were. So this happens. You ain't Superman or Superwoman. If you find out, If you start to question whether or not that place is a lie or not, check your ego at the door. This is about humility. Only the humble, the lowly, the crushed in spirit, the poor, and the needy, not the haves, the have-nots, are going to find the truth. This happens. And the rest of the acts of Zimri and the conspiracy he made, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yasharal? Then the people of Yasharal were divided into two parts. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Half of the people followed Tibni, son of Ganath, to make him reign, and half followed Omri. So half went with Omri. But the people who followed Omri were stronger than the people who followed Tibni, son of Ganath. And Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Omri became sovereign over Yasharal and reigned 12 years. He reigned 6 years in Tirsah. And he bought the hill of Samaria from Shamer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built Samaria, after the name of Shamer, owner of the hill. Now you understand. And like in Ezekiel, when it's talking about Olahah and Olabah and the 2 cities, this whole thing has been about smoke and mirrors. That's why you see all the mirror references, the mirror universe, multiverse, all that stuff in these movies. And wait till you see this trailer. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you this new movie I just found yesterday. Blow your mind. Watch and see. But he built Samaria on a hill, and let me tell you, for those of you who don't know, I'm at the real place. If it's raining right now, if it weren't raining, I could see Mount Zion from where I'm at. And it's the head. It comes out at the bottom of Samaria, okay? Like I've talked before, there's ramparts. There's these ramparts that Thanksgiving Point, in front of Mount Zion, there's this hill called Thanksgiving Point. And on top of it are these mega rich houses. And it's flat right there. And it's right below Mount Zion's, looking right at it. And that separates the Salt Lake City area, Bow Valley area. It's called the Cache Valley. And down in south, where Yerushalayim was, is called Utah Valley, the Wasatch Valley. And it's where Orem and Provo and Spanish Fork and all that stuff is, down in there by Nebo, and right in front of Nebo. Well, over in the Salt Lake Valley, in the north of it, right to the north of the skyscrapers and the buildings of Salt Lake City, right to the north is another mound that comes out like that. It's a rampart. It looks just like the hill down there. It's like a replica. And they've built houses, but this place, the hill there on the north of Salt Lake City, they've been digging at it, and they've worked the end of it back. Some like concrete or gravel company or blacktop plant or something has been whittling away at the front of that mound, of that rampart, taking the gravel and stuff from it. But there's houses up there too. It's like they had the same idea. And this is what we're reading about right here. This is what Omar did. And let's keep reading, because he's Ahaz's dad. And if you know about Ahaz married Jezebel, and they were Baal priests, Baal servants. They served Baal. So Omri did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and did evil more than all those before him, and walked in all the ways of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and in his sin by which he had made Yasharal sin, provoking Yahuwah, the Most High of Yasharal, with their worthlessness. Now, and look, he made another city, Samaria, right to the north, just up in the north pocket, not 20 miles, 25 miles away, however far, he made a replica, made his own city, and they followed after Baal and worshiped Baal. It led the people astray. They weren't going to Jerusalem, to the house of the Most High, to the place he placed his name, and doing to the mountain of the Most High, doing that which is continual. They weren't doing that anymore, and that's what's happening now, but on a much grander scale. They've moved it all the way across the earth now, over there in the Middle East. And you know what? There's so many reasons for why they did it, and it was perfect because they made the Dead Sea and stuff. They do stuff to that to enhance it being like dead over there, and it ain't even the same thing as what the Bible talks about. But they made it to where it kind of where they could kind of sell that being the place. They were like, see, there's the Dead Sea, and they made some stuff landmarks and stuff, which they do. But the main reason they took that piece of land and called it Israel is it can be found. The answer to why they really wanted it is found in the shape of it. The shape of Israel. Just look at it on the map one time, and you'll see why they're there and what they do, and what they're about. It's shaped, its bottom point goes down to that Suez Canal or whatever canal that is, and they're trying to get to those waterways, so they got access. So it's all about the money, the Benjamins, baby, and the control and the power. They kill multiple birds with one stone. They went in, set up a fake holy land. They got the world to give it its adoration, and at the same time be like the international toll booth and oil, all that stuff. So it's been a racket on the people, no doubt. But so he sinned, Omri did, and his son was Ahaz. Right here, I'll just show you real quick, and we'll get back to, or Ahab, excuse me. Did I say Ahaz? I did. I'm sorry, Ahab. In the 38th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Ahab, son of Omri, became sovereign over Yasharal, and Ahab, son of Omri, reigned over Yasharal and Samaria 22 years. There's that 22. Maybe that's what the whole 22 stuff has been about. If you seen the other day, the attack that happened in Moscow happened on March 22, on the 22nd. Don't think that wasn't precise. That's what these people do. They operate on gematria and symbolism. But Ahab, not Ahaz, I don't know why I said Ahaz if I did earlier. I meant Ahab. He was Omri's son. Omri built Samaria, another town, a city that was built on unrighteousness, built on Baal worship. And him and his son done more Baal worship, and his son took as wife Isabel. Right there. Jezebel. That's Jezebel. But and back then it was like Isabel or something like that. There was no J. So let's go back to Micah. So right back here in the last verse of chapter 6 of Micah, it says, for the laws of Omri are strictly observed, and all the works of the house of Ahab, and you walk in their counsels. You walk, and remember, he's saying walk for a reason. He's being specific. He's talking about they served Baal, and what has come out of the state of Israel is Babylon worship on steroids. That's not even a good analogy. It's out of this world. It's warp speed for real with all the Baal paganry, Baal worship, all that stuff, and the world follows after that. They walk according to their counsels. No one's talking about coming home. Therefore I give you for a ruin, and your inhabitants for a hissing, and let you bear the reproach of my people. The reproach of my people, he says. My people, his people, they do that which is continual. Woe to me, for I am as gatherings of summer fruit, as gleanings of the grape harvest. There is no cluster to eat. My being has desired the first ripe fruit. The lovingly committed one has perished from the earth. The lovingly committed one comes in and comes out. End of discussion. That's what he's talking about. Trust me, and you're going to see. And there is no straight among men. All of them lie in wait for blood. Everyone hunts his brother with a net. Both hands are on the evil to do it well. The prince asks for gifts. That's talking about Christmas right there. The judge seeks a bribe. The judge are these people who are scholars, who went to Bible college and everything, that should be able to judge situations rightly because they've been reading the word. But once you get reading the word and you see what the word's really saying, you realize that all those people, most of them, if not all, they might read a lot of the word and they might know it, but the reason they're doing it is evident. It becomes evident to you. When you start reading the word and seeing what it's really saying, you realize that all the people that's preaching and stuff are preaching for they're not preaching for a good cause, for a good reason. Their motivation is off. So they seek a bribe. And the great man speaks the desire of his being, and they weave it together. They weave it together. In that cartoon, the Marvel characters of the inheritors of all creation that I've shown you guys, they're called the inheritors of all creation. You can go to Google or wherever, go and type in Marvel fandom inheritors of all creation, and they got a whole story. They'll probably make a movie before it's over with about these guys, I guarantee you. And the one thing it says that they hunt Spider-Man and and when you read that story, you realize that the reason who Spider-Man is and anything related with spider webs in them superhero movies, you'll realize that is like the mark of the beast. That it represents like everyone that's caught in the web. That's what the web means, and that's what he's talking about when they weave it together. But one thing that occurred to me today was in that story, the inheritors. It says that they look at animals as like another person. Like when it comes to eating them or killing them, it would be like killing another person. And what the story's saying, what it's really saying, if you read it and you see what they're really saying, they're saying that they respected the blood of an animal, that they didn't just eat meat, you know what I mean, like it was going out of style. They respected the life of another living creature, like a dog. And like a dog, like if you have a dog, would you eat your dog? You wouldn't, would you? So I mean, any animal can be like a dog, and we eat it like it's nothing, like it's just fruit or something, like there's no life. There was no life in that animal. And people, and I don't mean to say we, because I don't do it, but people eat meat like it's just like it's grass growing on the ground or something, like it's nothing. They just go right through it every day. Hamburgers and chicken and everything. Well, what that story of the inheritors is actually talking about, it occurred to me today, why, because I've said this before, I've said that it's probably going to be hard for anyone to see this truth if you can't put down the fact that you shouldn't be eating meat every day like you do. Because, and this is why, because, and it goes back to the lamb, to following the lamb. Because if you understand the reason why the Most High has us roast the lamb in Jerusalem on Passover, and that's the only time we're allowed to roast meat. And he said if we cook meat, and it has to be meat that he said is okay to eat, clean, a clean animal, not like a pig or nothing. But the animals he said that we are permitted to eat, that if, keyword if we want, so wish to, and desire to eat an animal, that we're permitted to do it, but we have to do it the way he tells us to do it. We have to boil, season, or sodden the meat. That means it's in water. And that is what the baptism is based on. The water, it prevents the blood from searing, roasting onto the meat, and it comes out into the water, and it looks like water. That's why it says when you dump, you boil, season, or sodden it, and you dump the blood out like water onto the ground and cover it. You're supposed to do that every time. And you're not supposed to eat the meat. You're not supposed to eat the fat, the organs, nothing like that. But on Passover, you are. You're supposed to eat all of it and roast it and eat it. And you're only supposed to eat it in Jerusalem. That is our ticket home, what I just explained. That's how we live. We come home. In the end, the world is destroyed with fire, and we're there. We're blood. We're family. That's what it all represents. That's following the Lamb. So, if you can't never come to the fact that the life of an animal is in its blood, and we are to respect and value and cherish the life of another living creature, because the Most High has put that life there. It's a part of Him. It's His property. And it's for our delight and our pleasure and just everything good. And if you can't come to the fact that that the people, if this is you, I hope it's not you, but if you eat meat every day like I used to do and not think nothing about it, if you're still doing that, you have to come to the realization that that's wrong, that that's nasty. That we're not to walk like that. We're to value. He didn't say we couldn't eat it. We can, He permits it, but you have to cherish and respect the life of another animal to the point where you don't have to kill one in order to wet your whistle. If you're hungry, there's other options for you. And then if you can't see that, you're probably never going to see the importance of coming home and following the Lamb and the whole reason for Passover. You're going to miss it altogether. And avoiding doing all that is a desire of your own being. It's what everyone wants to do. It's their own desire. The best of them is like a prickly plant, and the most straight is sharper than a thorn hedge. The thorns is what covers the road, covers your home, and from seeing it and getting to it. That's what that symbolizes. That's why he says the most straight, the best, the people who walk the Torah, the tightrope, the tightest, who the world sees as righteous. A righteous person in the world's eyes is like, the best of them is like a thorn hedge. They're blocking the road home. They're still blocking it. Most people who hear what I'm talking about, they hiss at it. Watch the Nikes. Keep your eyes on their Nikes and notice the hissing that you hear. The day of your watchman and your punishment has come. Now is there confusion. Now is there confusion. That's the time we're in. While you're reading this word and examining this word, you're often reminded of what time we're talking about. This is talking about now, the time we're in. And that's just more confirmation on how real all this is. That this ain't no joke. This is really going on. Trust no friend, rely on no companion. Guard the doors of your mouth from her who lies in your bosom. For son is despising father. Daughter rises up against her mother. Daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The enemies of a man are the men of his own house. As for me, I look to Yahuwah. I wait for the Most High of my deliverance. My mighty Most High does hear me. Do not rejoice over me, O my enemy. When I have fallen, I have risen. When I sit in darkness, Yahuwah is a light to me. I bear the displeasure of Yahuwah, for I have sinned against him until he pleads my case and shall execute right ruling for me until he brings me out into the light and I look on his righteousness. And let my enemies see it and let shame cover her who said to me, where is Yahuwah your Most High? Let my eyes look on her. Now she is trampled down like mud in the streets. See, he's not talking about a literal woman. This lets you know that this is talking about the time we're in. Because there was no imposter before 1948. Now there is. The wife of our youth is our home, our true place of our origin. Our home, where we must return to. And it's been covered up, been hidden. So that's why you're seeing the shame cover her right now. Israel, the image of the beast, the abomination that lays waste. That's her. She's the one who said, where is your mighty Most High? Because she tore down the boundaries of your true set-apart place and lied to you about where it was and enslaved you, lied to you about everything, and has just been abusing you. I mean, abusing us. Lying to us up one side and down the other. And about everything. And convinced and just completely caused you to forget about doing that which is continual and where your home is. And if anybody has tried to do that which is continual, they came over there to the image of the beast, the lie, and kissed their big pinky toe. That's what's happened. And a lot of people did it. And like I said, it's not okay, but it's okay that just get over it. Get over that fact and come out. Yeah, because right now you're seeing she's being trampled down like mud in the streets, and she's on her way out, and and have you ever wondered why she ain't stopping? It's like, haven't you wondered, like every day when you look at the news, you think, man, are they gonna keep trucking? They just gonna keep trucking Israel and just keep pedal to the metal? Yeah, they're committing suicide. This has all been foretold. This is prophecy being fulfilled. This is the Bible being fulfilled. This is the end. We're approaching the latter days. And there's word in here for those that would live in the latter days, and instructions for them, and that's what I'm trying to read to you. You can't be prideful and stay wherever you are. If it's in Chattanooga, Tennessee, you can't stay there and refuse to do that which is continual and still say you follow the Lamb and are covered in the blood of the Lamb. It's empty. It's a mocking. You're being mocked. You must come out. The day for building your walls, let the law go far and wide in that day for building your wall. See, this is talking about coming home, our true set apart place. That day when they come to you from Ashur, from Ashur and from besieged cities of Mitzrayim, from Egypt, and from the siege to the river, and from sea to sea, and mountain to mountain. Now, that's why it feels like to me like I've seen enough word that makes me think that the only people who will come home are people who are in the country of North America, who can make it, who could drive to the true place of where he placed his name, the true Jerusalem. Because Ashur and Egypt that's America, and Mexico all out in there. East Coast, America, and Mexico. That's why it says from sea to sea, from sea to shining sea, and mountain to mountain. But the earth shall become a waste because of those who dwell in it, and for the fruit of their deeds, for the fruit of their deeds. It's all about your deeds. That's Omri. It just said that he caused Yasharal to sin. That means he lied about something and put a costume on something, tricked you somehow into doing something that was a sin, but you didn't realize it. And that's what's happening right now. And so it's all about your deeds. It's what the enemy can get you to do. But what you're supposed to do, it's in the word, and it involves doing that which is continual. The deeds is bringing in the first fruits, coming in, doing that which is continual. Shepherd your flock, or your people, with your rod, the flock of your inheritance. Right there. That lets you know what we're talking about. That's talking about finding your home. The measuring rod. Who dwell alone in a forest in the midst of Carmel. That's Mount Sion. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilad as in days of old, as in the days when you came out of the land of Mitzrayim. See? I shall let him see wonders. Let him see wonders. That has been confirmed, because I have seen those wonders. I see them with my own eyes. It's a wonder. It's amazing. And that's what you're missing out on right now for hamburgers and Nineveh. Let the nation see and be ashamed of all their might. Let them put their hand over their mouth. Let their ears be deaf. That's what's happening right now. That sword slicing and dicing them. And they're being deaf because what they're hearing involves them letting go of some things. Admitting some things. Admitting they were lied to and they've been wrong. They can't do it. That's the snare. That's the threshing right there. That's how this is threshing people. Let them lick the dust like the serpent. Let them come trembling from their strongholds. See, like snakes of the earth. Let them be afraid of Yahuwah, our mighty Most High, and fear because of you. Who is a mighty one like you, taking away crookedness and passing over the transgression of the remnant of his inheritance. Passing over. That's another clue to use, to put in your tool belt, to use for what day it might be that the end happens. It's probably going to be on Passover, but we're to be there at all days. That's the beauty of it. All we do is we follow that which is continual. We follow the Lamb. We come in and we come out. We do what we do, and that's how we avoid the wrath. That's how we avoid death. And everyone who's doing that will live, and those who won't, will die. That's how this parting of two ways is going down. And it's probably going to be because there's so many times where he says pass over. There's plenty of times when he's talking about this, he's talking about passing over. He shall not retain his wrath forever, for he himself delights in loving commitment. He delights in loving commitment. So what that's saying is when he starts seeing you come home is when this is all going to end. He's wanting you to come home. He delights in that. This is what he wants. He just wants you to come be with him. And what's it going to be? Are you gonna come to the house and see him or not? He shall turn back. He shall have compassion on us. He shall trample upon our crookednesses, and you throw all our sins into the depths of the sea. You give truth to Jacob. Boom. Loving commitment to Abraham. Boom. Which you swore to our fathers from the days of old. That's what this has all been about. It's all been about getting us to our home, to the throne. Back a second time. Now look, I'm just going to read a little bit of this, but you can pick any book you want. But just to prove that all I did was read the last chapter of Micah. When we were in Malachi, I just picked random. I picked Malachi, I picked Micah. Now I'm just going straight to the next book that this Bible app offers me. And that's Nahum. Watch what it says. The message concerning Nineveh. The book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. Nineveh. We've been seeing a lot of Nineveh in the news lately, haven't we? Yeah. Yahuwah is a jealous and revenging mighty one. Yahuwah is a revenger and a possessor of wrath. Yahuwah takes vengeance on his adversaries, and he watches for his enemies. Yahuwah is patient and great in power, but by no means leaves unpunished. Yahuwah has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He is rebuking the sea and dries it up, and all the floods he has made dry. Bashan and Carmel are withering, and the flower of Lebanon is languishing. Mountains have shaken before him, and the hills have melted, and the earth is lifted up at his presence, and the world and all who dwell in it. Who does stand before his rage, and who rises up in the heat of his displeasure? His wrath is poured out like fire, and the rocks have been broken by him. Yahuwah is good as a stronghold in the day of distress, and he knows those who take refuge in him. Boom. But with an overwhelming flood, he makes a complete end of the place of Nineveh, and darkness does pursue his enemies. What do you plot against Yahuwah? He makes a complete end of it. Distress does not rise up a second time. Boom. Verse 9 right here of Nahum chapter 1. It answers lots of questions that you may have. It will answer to you what distress is, what the word distress, what he's talking about when he says the word distress. In all the prophets, he's talking about the state of Israel, the hiding, the way of Omri, the taking away from us that which is continual, throwing down the truth, just like in Daniel, throwing down the truth of the set apart place. That's what he's taken. So why does he say distress does not rise up a second time? What happens a second time? We take joy in our portion a second time. The second Exodus, when we return, we take our land a second time, and it's a wrap. This is another way you can know that when you get here, it's a wrap. And you can know that distress means the hiding of our set apart place and doing that which is continual. And you can know that it'll never rise up again. Ever. Boom. See how the word works? That's That's getting sliced and diced in the right way, baby, if you know what I mean. Though they are as entangled thorns and as drunkards with their drink, they shall be consumed like stubble thoroughly dried. From you came forth one who plots evil against Yahuwah, a counselor of Belial. Thus said Yahuwah, though they are strong and many, even so they shall be cut off and pass away. There's that cut off again. Though I have afflicted you, I afflict you no more. So now I break his yoke from you and tear off your shackles. And Yahuwah has commanded concerning you, your name shall no longer be sown. From the house of your mighty ones I shall cut off the carved image and the molded image. I shall appoint your burial site for you have been of no account. That's what's going to happen. If you continue on with the house of the wrong and you never come to the house of the right, the right house, if you never come out of the carved image, the molded image, your whole life, whatever you've done, it ain't been stored. It's been for no account, of no account. See, on the mountains, the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace. O Yahudah, celebrate your festivals, perform your vows. For Belial shall no more pass through you. He has been cut off completely. Boom. Do you hear this good news? My feet are on the mountains. Come celebrate your festivals and perform your vows. Otherwise, you'll be cut off. And what you're missing is beyond measure.
What do you think it is? It's glorious. It's dangerous out there. The city provides protection and some sort of order to this chaos. If we follow the rules and keep our heads down, there's nothing to worry about.